What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing for you the LTC Moshpit WHM01, which honestly has the worst name of a mouse I've ever encountered. I don't know who a bunch of people who are going to be looking for the Moshpit, or their other mouse, the Circle Pit. You'll remember I did review a previous LTC product, the LTC NB681. Neither of those products were sent to me. I'm not sponsored, just because this is another LTC product, don't think like, oh, they're sending him stuff. They're not. I bought this product with my own money. It is currently selling for $35 on Amazon. And I bought it because when I was deal hunting on Amazon, as I am accustomed to doing, I was immediately struck by how similar this looks to a Pwnage Ultra Custom Symm, which is why that I have my Ergo right here on my desk to make a couple comparisons. First of all, the RGB zones are the same. There's RGB here on the scroll wheel, RGB inside on the logo, and RGB on the back. Boom. This is the Pwnage Ultra Custom Ergo. I don't have a Symm to make a direct comparison for as far as shape, but it does have the same RGB zones, which are even shaped the same on both mice. So, of course, these RGB zones carry over onto the Symm, so that's why I'm comparing this to the Ergo. Additionally, they both have the removable shell feature to either have, honeycomb or a full plastic shell. As far as mouse shape and all of that, that's where the similarities end between these two mice, because this is an Ergo mouse and this is a symmetrical mouse. But that enough alone was like, oh wow, this just looks like a Pwnage Ultra Custom Symm clone, and I might be buying a Symm later to make a complete comparison. So that aside, I'll go straight into the aesthetics of the mouse, which is where I usually start. I think it's a cool looking mouse. I mean, it looks like a Pwnage Ultra Custom Symm if you didn't see the logo. It's got the full honeycomb that's very popular right now. The thing I don't like about the honeycomb is I don't like how it goes onto the mouse buttons, mouse 1 and 2, because when you use the plastic shell, to me it just kind of looks like a little not as harmonious, because it's like flat and then all of a sudden, boom, there's honeycomb on the trigger. So that's why I've been using the honeycomb shell. But that's a very minor thing. And for like the Model O wireless, it has the same honeycomb on top of the triggers too, or not triggers, mouse 1 and mouse 2 as well. So most people won't be bothered by that. Now, further moving into the aesthetics, aside from the clean white build, that's kind of all it's got going for it. The RGB is atrocious. It's probably the worst RGB I've ever seen in my entire life, and that's not necessarily like, it's pretty bright. But the problem is that you can only customize the RGB on this back side. You can't change this RGB. It'll be permanently locked on like one color linked to your DPI settings. So let's say, for example, like you have to go into the software, make a DPI profile, and put a color to it. So for this one, I have purple, and then my other DPI profile I have set to no RGB. And of course you could add as many of them as you want and just kind of use this as an RGB switcher, but that's just stupid. Why would I have to link, to change the color of the scroll wheel and the logo inside? I need to set a DPI setting and put a color to that DPI setting. That's just why. That's stupid. I should be able to change the RGB to whatever I want on these things without having to link it to a DPI setting. Oh, furthermore, as far as just talking about the scroll wheel and the logo inside, they are permanently set to breathing. You cannot change this. I did a ton of research all over the internet, and you can't find anything. Even in LTC's own promotional video of this mouse, it's never shown doing anything other than breathing on the scroll wheel and the logo. So I'm like, okay, well, it's just permanently stuck like that, which is really annoying to me. I mean, most people are going to be okay with breathing, and I got used to it, but I just prefer to have static purple. This breathing effect was really annoying when I first opened up the mouse. And finally, the one part that you can customize, like I said, is the backside. The RGB options are not great. Obviously, you can change the color to whatever you want, so I have that purple like normal. But then this effect right here, this colorful streaming effect, is probably the only good one that looks smooth. It's like a, RGB kind of rainbow going across. Let's see there. Steady breathing, of course, is just a breathing effect. Colorful tail looks okay, but it's like shuddery. It's like really shuddery RGB. It's not smooth. Another one, neon. This is just a color changing one. That one looks okay. But colorful steady. This is just as many colors as you want. It's just the RGB spectrum, but at one time. And finally, flicker. This is like a cop siren. You could change the 2 colors if you wish, but it's like really shuddery. Flicker. Oh, that's what I just clicked. Sorry. Stars Twinkle is probably the worst one. It's like you can see the shutters as it's going across. It's not like a smooth color change. It's like a boop, 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 boop. It is really bad. Wave is also really bad. It does the same thing. It's not like a smooth, continuous wave. It moves really like. Boop, boop, boop. And adjusting the speed doesn't really help you. You get the same shuddery, like 10 FPS looking RGB. And then the last thing I'll tack on as far as how bad I hate this RGB is when you move the mouse, the back one turns off. Why? That's just why. While I'm still on the RGB, there is a button on the back to turn off the bottom part, or on the back, sorry, on the bottom to turn off the back part, or turn it back on, which seems really redundant because you can do this 3 ways. You can either turn off the RGB on the back from the software. You can turn it off with this button, or even the switch to turn it on has an option to just turn on the mouse without the RGB on the back and just this RGB on. I don't know why they gave us so much customizability for the back part of this mouse, but no customizability for the rest of the RGB. Okay, done with my little RGB rant. So overall, mouse looks good. It's just that RGB is atrocious. Now, features-wise, this mouse is kind of feature-rich. Obviously, it has software for limited color customizability. It has adjustable DPI going up to 16,000. Of course, I have mine set at 1300 as usual. It does allow for mouse sensitivity adjustments, double click speed adjustments, scrolling speed adjustments, standard mouse stuff, as well as mouse macros, some of which are pre-programmed in the mouse and can just be assigned to a button. For example, a triple click function could be assigned to any of the side buttons. Speaking of the side buttons, you've noticed probably that I have this kind of smooth, this right here, these are not buttons. That is because these are magnetic and can be replaced with buttons, which are given right here. In order to, customize the mouse how you wish. You could have buttons on both sides, buttons only on your dominant side. So for me, I have it on this left side so I can, for my thumb. Or I could take off all of the buttons and just have a smooth mouse. This is a very, very cool feature, because a lot of people will get bothered by having the buttons on this side that they have to feel. So the ability to remove those buttons and just put smooth plates in there is honestly something I'm surprised that hasn't been done already on other mice that I've seen. Now, the problem is the way that this is executed is really, really bad. So these magnetic buttons, they kind of, if you move your thumb over them, they make a bunch of noise like that. Additionally, they don't feel very solid. Because that will wobble. It makes it wobble a lot if I just put my thumb on top of it and wiggle it. Additionally, they have possibly the worst post-travel I've ever seen. Ever. On any sort of mouse button. It's like you actuate it and then it just kind of keeps going. It's really, really bad. So, good feature, bad execution. And then, of course, the only other really, remarkable features, of course, the swappable shell, like I mentioned earlier. Now, actual performance of the mouse. The sensor's a 3335 sensor, just like the Deluxe M800. So of course it performs fine. It feels pretty standard. It feels good. On the bottom, it does come stock with white PTFE mouse feet. They felt good. They didn't feel like, oh my gosh, wow, these are great. They just felt good. So they felt really, they felt good. What can I say? For $35, they're pretty good mouse feet. They're way better than the Deluxe M800 mouse feet, that is for sure. So I think you could leave these stock mouse feet and have an enjoyable experience. Now, the only thing that I found odd, as far as I guess this would go in the performance of the mouse, is the weight of the mouse. For one, it's a little front heavy, which is okay. It didn't really bother me that much as far as the weight balance, but it's heavy. it's just a heavy mouse. I want to say with this shell on, it comes out to about 88 or 89 grams. And it goes all the way up to 91 with this on. Why is this mouse so heavy? It's fully honeycomb. It's wireless. It should be a lighter mouse than it is. Granted, this is a low price point, so I know that weight is probably, that's the least important trade-off here at the $35 price point, but it just doesn't make any sense for it to be as heavy as it is. So naturally, I took the whole mouse apart, and I did find the issue. It's that the PCB that they're using inside is massive. It's like really huge. It takes up the whole space inside. It's really, really, really heavy. And same thing with the battery that they used inside, because I tried to remove the battery, and I was like, wow, this thing is a brick. So if they used a smaller PCB and used a smaller, more performance battery, of course, obviously that would probably drive up the price a little bit. This mouse could be way lighter. I think that's kind of its main drawback is the weight. As far as the mouse clicks, these are Hawano blue shell white dots. I mean, what can I say? They sound pretty good. They don't feel too rattly. There's a little bit of rattle with the build of the mouse on the clicks. And there's a little bit of rattle just shaking it. Not a ridiculous amount. Apparently people had big issues with these on the first batch of them. There was massive wobble problems, or rattle problems. I didn't get a bunch of rattle right there. But there is a little bit of rattle on the clicks. So the clicks overall feel good. The sensor is good. The mouse feet are passable. And the side buttons are just really bad. That kind of rounds up the main review of the mouse. Now, what is my verdict on the mouse? I'd say for $35, this type of Pwnage clone is kind of unbeatable. It's really good. $35, you get PTFE mouse feet. You get the feature, with the swappable buttons. You get the removable shell if you don't like the honeycomb. And you get good performance from the sensor. Honestly, the only drawback to this mouse is its weight. And that is something that I think is not the most important thing in a mouse. I'm not like a massive, I need my mouse to be under 70 grams type guy. So for me, I'd say that this is it's a good deal at $35. I think it's very, very well priced. I would not pay like $50 for this mouse, because at that point I would almost say like, I feel like you could just save a little bit more and then try and get the actual thing. But for $35, a little bit more than a third of the price, of a real Pwnage Ultra Custom which is at $80. I'd say that this is a great budget mouse. It's if you're just getting into PC gaming, it's a very good starting wireless mouse. I mean, it's cheaper than a lot of wired mice. Of course, those wired mice might be lighter or might have some better stock feet. But if you're looking for a affordable wireless mouse to get into gaming, I'd say that this is a good pickup. So it does have my my budget seal of approval, I guess I would say. So my verdict is, yes, this is a good pickup. I can recommend this to people looking for a mouse at this price point. Now, if you enjoyed the review today, please leave a like and subscribe. It really does help me out. It'll get me, closer and closer to monetization, so then I can provide more content and more reviews for you guys. And then let me know if you like this type of content, if you want me to keep reviewing, more budget peripherals and comparing them to, their more expensive counterparts, or if you're some sort of other content that you'd like me to try out. Always active in my comment sections. I always read them, so I really appreciate it when you guys comment. That'll be all for me today. Thank you so much, guys. Peace.